it, but I mean, I think that's part of it.
All right, one more time. You rewrote the textbook that day on how to drive a racing car in the rain, and it started even before the race fully got underway. This is behind the safety car. Take us through what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be out of the spray, first of all, to see where I'm going, and then you're trying to brake late deep into the corner, see if you lock up or, you know, where the grip is basically. Like here, I'm like scrubbing the front tires to see, okay, here's maybe a bit more grip, here is not great, and then you do the same here. Just
so on the outside of turn 3, that's a piece of knowledge that would come in handy in the near future.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here I can't see where I'm going, so I was like, well, back off a bit, and then you start accelerating again and try to find the right line.
Okay, your first victim in the race was Kimi on the start.
Yeah, like you couldn't see much there, so I was like, well, try to go to the inside, and he stayed in the spray of Nico. So I was like, well, that's great. So I could brake late into the corner. I knew there was more grip for me in the inside because I was trying it behind the safety car. So for me, this was the perfect line to go into the corner.
Aren't you a bit surprised that other drivers weren't checking these things out? Because they must have seen you darting all over the place, having fun.
Yeah, but I think they were thinking, what is this idiot doing? You know, what is he trying to do? You know, you should stay behind. But I was just trying to find grip and try alternative lines.
At which point did this become an overtake? Because you're a long way behind here.
When he started braking, I saw he braked very, like now. I said, okay, well, I'll go for it. And then, yeah, there was good grip for me here on the inside. And, yeah, into third.
Job done. So next up then is the world champion-elect and the world championship leader, Nico Rosberg. And your experience in turn 3 is about to come in, or your knowledge
I lost out a bit on the straight. I was very close to him in the restart, but I couldn't pass him before the safety car line, so I had to wait a bit, but then lost out on the straight. And then I tried to go around the outside like I've done before in the previous laps, and they didn't. So I was like, well, that's great. I just pushed it very hard because on the onboard you could really see I was fighting the car pretty hard. I think I couldn't have done every lap like that because I would have lost the car one way, but yeah, I think he didn't see me coming.
What I want to know is your right rear tyres on the white line. We've seen many a race destroyed, spinning around. How did you know the car would stick there?
Well, I have to say, lately with all the new paint, it somehow it felt all right. Like my dad always kept telling me as well, stay off the white lines. But somehow on this track again, the white line was not an issue.
Okay, next up then is your own save. Talk us through this.
Yeah, I said, well, let's start drifting a bit, but it got a bit out of hand. I mean, I don't know actually what happened there. You know, it just did the same line. I think I just caught a puddle in a different angle, or a bit too much steering lock on. I don't know.
You just touched the white line on the inside here, look.
Yeah, but I did it more often.
So it was the standing water in the middle that was the problem.
Yeah, I think here something happened.
Yeah,
maybe
you can
the water.
See, look, that tyre's really struggling to clear the water. Isn't
it? Exactly. So yeah, it just happened. You know, a bit unlucky moment. But then it turned out to be lucky.
You said to me on the podium it was 50-50 skill versus luck. You standing by that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so I lost the car here, and then you lock the brakes, and here I said, okay, I can save it. Because when I locked all the wheels, luckily, that was my luck. The front started to go to the right side and not to the left. And then once I realized the front was going to the right, I released the brakes, and then you just grip up and you can turn it.
But you straightened the steering wheel at this point. Was that a conscious thing to do?
Yeah, because if you keep it that way, the car starts doing like that.
You're going to go the other way?
Yeah, so it's better to have a four-wheel drift and try to have more time to save the car instead of like letting it spin, because then you're out of control.
So that was a conscious effort, which I think means that there's the 50% skill, isn't it? You've thought in the middle of just about to smash your car to pieces in a great position in the Grand Prix, straighten the steering wheel, Max.
Yeah, it's something, you know, I've learned, for example, driving in the snow on a quad bike. It's something you always have. You know, you have moments where you're sliding and you always try to correct it, and that's exactly what I did there.
And then you have to take your foot off the brakes when the point comes, and you were a bit lucky because there was a service car entrance there, so you could breathe a bit against the barrier.
The lucky thing was, I think the day before, the guardrail was still on the white line, but they moved it to the inside. So, yeah, worked out perfectly for me.
Fortune favours the brave, as they say. Now, you come back out, you're P14, the intermediate gamble didn't work, decision, whatever you like to call it, and now you've got to come back through the pack and you start making your way through. And then you come up against your teammate, which is a little bit edgy.
I tried there, he closed, so I was like, well, I have to go around the outside, and then here I had a good exit. And I knew around the outside here was a lot of grip, so I tried it and, yeah, got it, yeah. got it done.
And was that particularly satisfying, being it was Daniel?
It's always more difficult to pass your own teammate because you have the same car, you know. It's the downforce, you lose more downforce when you're behind your own teammate. So I was happy that I was in front because I knew the pace was there. So once I cleared Daniel, I could charge through the field.
Okay, now your good friend Seb Vettel. We're going to start this from way back, actually, because you're coming down towards turn 4. You've gone down the outside, and as you go into the corner, I just want to point out, you're ahead, and what then happens is you realise he's going to run you out of road.
Yeah, I mean, you could he was looking. I could see his helmet pointing to me, like just pushing me, trying to get me, you know, in a corner where I couldn't do anything. So I just backed off, let him go in front again, and I would say, well, I'll try another corner then.
Right, I'm going to stop there. You were looking and you saw his helmet looking at you down the straight.
Yeah.
So you so okay.
On the brake, you can very easily see it. Like you see the head just doing like that.
Yeah, but then the track is in terrible condition. So why are your eyes not on stalks looking at the racetrack?
I always have the intention of I'm always looking more to the inside of the corner with my head. It's something I've had with go-karting as well. So something
now you're trying a few Verstappen lines.
Yeah.
And we come to what is effectively the last corner. So he said he ran me off the track. He ran me out of space.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, of course. But, you know, it's I got to the inside. I was clearly next to him. And then at one point, also from his onboard, you could see, like, he saw that I was next to him. And then suddenly he accelerated again. I was like, well, I mean, I'm next to you, so I'm not going to give you more space. Like here, he realized I was next to him, and then he started accelerating. And I mean, I'm in the middle of the track, and you are a bit on the rubber, so you just slide, and I couldn't turn more than I already did. So I don't think it's something intentional or something.
In those conditions, it's really tricky, isn't it? But I think, for me, if you've got the inside line, the guy on the outside has to, like you did in turn 4, you've got to lift, haven't you? Because that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll rush through some of the many overtakes. And the final one was the sweet one because it was for the podium.
Yeah.
Up against a somewhat disappointed Perez.
I can imagine, but still, I think they had a great race in general. So yeah, I tried it before on Ocon here, so I was like, well, let's go around the outside. But of course, he realized it a bit. But then, so well, let's try and go over the curb. Let's see how it pans out. I mean.
So now you've got a bit of opposite lock on. The car's sliding on the curbs, but you're going to stick with it. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, well, you do. I can tell you how it turns out. But, so no doubts there. You didn't have to sort of give up on that one, obviously.
No, it was just on the limit.
Oh, yeah, very on the limit. Now, what I thought was impressive here is that you gave him racing space, which is fair enough, isn't it? You didn't run him out of road.
The thing is as well, I mean, the pace difference was so big. Even if I didn't get him there, I would wait another lap or another corner and I would get him. So it's not something that it's so critical to get past there that you have to like squeeze him a bit off the track. So I was like, well, let's give him room. Let's see where he ends up. And I think it was perfect racing at the end of the day. It looked great.
Thinking the long game, then no point in having contact or getting a penalty, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the pace difference is so big. Yeah.
So put us inside the car then with this technique you have. You had it in junior racing. Do you relax in the car on the pedals, on the steering wheel, or what is your style?
No, actually, well, not tense, but also not too relaxed because then it's easy to lose the car. You always have to grip up your, on the steering wheel quite a lot because the car is always very easy to move with the aquaplaning on the straight, so you have to be alert. But at one point you get into a zone and then it feels like nothing can go wrong. You have to feel confident, and once you feel confident you can attack the braking, you heat up the brakes. Because of the brakes you heat up the tires, and then you just get more and more grip, and then it just gets easier and easier to drive the car. So
it's that confidence, but there's a bravery as well, isn't it? Because there are points there when you're behind Kimi, for example, and Nico, where you just kept your foot in.
Yeah,
but you can't see where you're going.
You have to feel the car. It's a lot about feeling as well in the wet. So you have to feel where the grip is. You have to feel the limit of the car, and you try to be on the edge. And that made me, especially get past Nico around the outside, because I'm pretty sure that was my fastest turn 3 the whole race. I think afterwards you always back off a little bit to have this little margin where maybe you're half a 10 slower or a 10 slower through that corner, but at least it's a clean corner.
So only take the risks when you really have to then?
In the wet, you can't do every lap 100% or like 102.
These guys know what you're up to now. Next time, you're not going to find it as easy, are you?
We'll see. we'll see how it goes. I mean, of course, I hope we have another wet race, but it doesn't look like here in Abu Dhabi this year.
Good luck.